Thank you so much for being here. If I may ask you to put your phones on silent mode, I would really appreciate it. My name is Fatima, and the poem slash essay which I will perform is about my journey as an asylum seeker in the United States, and it's called Ask Me. Dr. Maya Angelou said, "You are only free when you realize you belong no place. You belong every place, no place at all. The price is high. The reward is great." Ask me. Number 1, November 2018. I'm in a cold, austere courtroom, waiting for my verdict. The mahogany furnishings and the judge's elevated bench adds to the drama. A large plaque in the shape of a scale hangs on the center wall with a Quranic verse, "And when you judge between people, judge with justice," written underneath. The silence sucks all the air out of the room. Only the gentle sound of prayer beats bumping against each other creates an eerie rhythm, the way a ticking clock threatens time is running out. The winds of the Arab Spring swept over the tiny state of Kuwait, and I found an outlet on social media to call for social and political reform in a country where criticizing the emir or Islam leads to imprisonment. I call for the human rights of the stateless people. I hold the emir responsible for the tragedy, and I call him corrupt. I speak up about the misogyny of Islam, about femicide, about LGBTQ rights in a country where homosexuality is illegal. I am charged with defamation, undermining state security, blasphemy, insulting Islam, all felonies. And all I can think about is, what will happen to my 12-year-old daughter when I go to jail? Who will care for her? Number 2, December 2018. My daughter and I are detained in the Department of Homeland Security at O'Hare Airport, where we came seeking asylum. In a 6-by-6-foot room with nothing but one dirty mattress on the floor, 3 security cameras watching us from every angle, and eye-watering, headache-inducing fluorescent lights we aren't allowed to turn off. They take our cell phones and our luggage. Each time I ask, when will we be released, I'm answered with disdain that due to government shutdown, it could be weeks. But you'll only be transferred to another cell, the guard sneers. We didn't enter the country illegally. You have our passports, our visas. I try to argue with him. The guard ignores me and walks away. Time stretches like an uninterrupted scream. From a nearby cell, I can hear a woman with a Latin American accent screaming with so much pain, "Don't touch me! Let go of me!" Another woman with an Arabic accent and small children is crying and trying to explain to the officer in her broken English why it's impossible for her to return to Saudi Arabia. At night, or what I assume is night, I can hear weeping and sad, desperate pleading murmurs. Number 3, January 2019. I lie awake on the bottom bunk bed of a detention center in Texas. My daughter Jury occupies the top. We share this room with 5 other families, mothers and their children. We're the only English-speaking family here. I listen to the rapid Spanish chatter of my roommates. I don't understand a word, and yet the emotion of the language moves me. Then I feel lethargic and out of touch, thinking about all the borders I ran to for safety, but wasn't allowed to cross. In order to be released from the detention center, we have to pass the credible fear interview. But even if they release us, we would still have to appear in court and convince an immigration judge that we have good reasons to seek asylum in the United States, and that can take years. I am led to the interrogation room by an ICE agent, and I carry with me the weight of what the word refugee has come to mean in the United States. Brown, poor, uneducated, a nuisance, a problem America needs to get rid of, and the weight of how I should be treated, with suspicion, with contempt, put away, locked up, sent back where I came from. And these misconceptions are heavy. They are untrue. They are unjust. The confidence in who I am and what I know I can offer wavers. Number 4, March 2020. A year since our release from the detention center, my daughter and I are still waiting for the immigration court to set a date for our hearing. Thousands of deaths due to COVID. The loss of jobs and livelihoods means long lines at food banks. The brutal murder of George Floyd by a cop who knelt on his neck for 9 minutes ignites nationwide protests. In many cities, the unrest leads to violence. A teenage boy shoots and kills 2 people and injures a 3rd in a protest in Kenosha, where another white cop murdered another black man. This, followed by the 2020 elections, followed by the Capitol insurrections, followed by the mass shooting of 6 Asian women in Atlanta, divides an already deeply polarized nation in the throes of police brutality and racial injustice. Gun violence reaches its highest records, highlighting America's lunatic relationship with guns and the tragedy of children having access to guns. My daughter and I march with Black Lives Matter in Cleveland. We hold up our fists and shout, "No justice, no peace! Hands up, don't shoot! I can't breathe! I can't breathe." Tremendous pain and anger pushing us forward, tears running down our faces as the names of Black victims murdered by the police are called out in long, terrible lists. We didn't know then that in 2 years' time, we'll be marching again at the same spot, this time for abortion rights. The oppression of minorities is rife. Number 6, March 2021. 2 years since our release from the detention center, my daughter and I are still waiting for the immigration court to set a date for our hearing. I can finally get a work permit and a driver's license and a social security number. And with my master's and PhD in law and my experience teaching at college level, I applied to college teaching positions, but to no avail. So I work at a supermarket and I work as a caregiver. And when a lawyer tells me she's looking for a legal assistant, I think this is kind of relevant to my degrees. But then I'm told I'll be paid minimum wage and no health benefits. I accept because I should be grateful. Then I realize I'm not really a legal assistant. I'm a secretary. I answer the phone and I scan and copy papers all day. And I bring my employer's attention to the racist things she says to me sometimes. "I'm sorry," I tell her. "I know you didn't mean to. I'm really grateful for this job." Because immigrants are always sorry. And we're always grateful. Number 6, March 2022. 3 years since our release from the detention center, my daughter and I are still waiting for the immigration court to set a date for our hearing. I start teaching history at a middle school, but I leave after a few months when one of my students threatens to shoot me and several of his classmates. I really need the school's support. I really want the principal to say something reassuring to me, but she just shrugs and says it's just a stupid thing that boys say. We don't take it seriously. As an artist and a writer, I dream of living off my painting and my writing, but since neither my talents generate income, I work. So I cook at restaurants, and I work as a barista, and I clean houses, and when I come across a particularly dirty house, a house where I have to clean dog vomit off the floor and sweep rat droppings, I close my eyes and take a deep breath and remember what Dr. Maya Angelou said. In life, you will face many defeats, but you must not be defeated. Number 7, March 2023. 4 years since our release from the detention center. My daughter and I are still waiting for the immigration court to set a date for our hearing. For the past 4 years, I have filled out form after form for art and writing grants I know I will not get, because they are aimed at benefiting underrepresented groups. And these groups are identified as Black, Latinx, and Asian American, and I don't fit in any of these categories. These forms tell me to write 300 words about what informs my writing, and 300 words about the political and social impact my art will have. But none of these template questions can tell the judges anything about who I am and what I know I can put out in the world as an artist, had I any support. Ask me. I want to tell these judges who are looking for the most marginalized artists in Ohio. Ask me how where I come from. My art doesn't matter because I'm a woman. And here, my art doesn't matter because I'm an alien. Ask me how organizations like yours insist they elevate people like me, but don't. Ask me what it feels like not to fit anywhere in the world. Ask me how I will not get this grant or the next because I'm a minority of a minority. I'm a speck of a speck. I'm on the margins of the marginalized. Ask me how much courage and blind faith it takes to keep going, having never been funded or supported or appreciated or acknowledged. I keep creating, imagining that one day, through sheer persistence and lonely dedication, my art too will matter. Number 8, May 2024. 5 years since our release from the detention center. The immigration court sets a date for our hearing, and we sigh in relief. And on the day of our hearing, the judge throws our case back to the USCIS, the United States Citizen and Immigration Services, where our case has been languishing for the past 5 years. And my daughter and I are devastated. We waited and waited and hoped, and now we are back at square one. Our case postponed indefinitely. However, I win an art grant, and I'm invited to exhibit my paintings at beautiful local art galleries such as Kaiser Art Gallery and Waterloo Art Gallery and Negative Space. And the cherry on top of the cake, I win Ohio's Individual Excellence Award for writing. And I remember what Dr. Maya Angelou said. In life, you will face many defeats, but you must not be defeated. I'm so sorry about the heat, and I appreciate you. My daughter, Julie, is here to support me tonight. Thank you.